Homeowners, when was the last time you checked on your home title? That's the legal record proving that you own your home. If your answer's never, then this is for you. Scammers, yeah, they're stealing titles and the equity in your home. That's their target. That's why I partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code Anthony at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you'll get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Sunday, Labor Day weekend. And, yeah, as we say, that's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap on summer. Oh, sure. The whole solstice thing, that conspiracy, might tell you different, that we continue with summer for a little while longer. But we all know, right after Labor Day weekend, I don't know, how do it know? How do the world know that it's time to start getting chilly? And it's like a day. That's it. One day. Like, oh, that was summer, and now it's not, and it's the 2nd of September, and I'm cold. And it sucks. Yeah, summers, man. They do buzz on by. I don't know. I was trying to remember my childhood, which was so many years ago. And the summers, did they seem to last longer, or did they seem to go by very quickly? Because these days they seem to go by very quickly. And when you're a kid, a summer was, I think because, again, you just take into consideration the percentage of your life. 3 months, if you're 10, what is that? 3, if you're 10, you're, how many months old are you? 12, 120, and then carry the, exactly my calculation. No, I just think it's a much larger percentage of your life at that time. So based on your life experience at 10 years old, 3 months seems like a long time. But you don't want school to start again. You're having a lot of fun. And my other theory with why adults, and the older you get, the faster time shoots on by, is because as an adult, you're constantly trying to put things off. You don't want things to happen. Another bill, a doctor's appointment, a funeral, whatever, work, whatever it is. But as a kid, you are constantly anticipating something, waiting. When is my birthday or Christmas? You're constantly looking forward to stuff. Summer vacation. And, when you're waiting for something, it seems like it takes forever. When you don't want something to come along and you're putting it off, it does seem like it comes up a lot faster. So, that's one of my takes on why when you get older, things seem to go by. But summer vacation's kind of a different thing. Because, again, even as a kid, you kind of didn't want it to end. That would make you think it was going to whiz right on by. And then as an adult, it's just 3 more months. It's nice. It's not the same, but you're still working, and you have things to do. A little more vacation time, maybe, things like that. But I don't know. For me, it seems like it goes by a lot faster now than when I was a kid. Summer vacation did, especially that last day of school, and then the next day is first day of summer vacation. It might as well have been 5 years. Oh, we go back to school in 5 years from now. That's what it seemed like. And, yeah, there were things. 4th of July, of course, was a huge thing as a kid, and parties, things like that. And now, again, you're just kind of like, oh, here's three mortgage payments, June, July, and August. There you go. Maybe I shouldn't be so cynical. Anthony, don't be so cynical. But it's hard. It's hard not to be. I enjoy it. I enjoy summer still. I'm not as sure why. I think it's just the hassle of putting a coat on is something I don't like about when it gets a little colder. I'm down here in old South Carolina now, though, so yeah, it's still going to be very summer-like for quite some time. But when you first have to put that big winter coat on, bundle up. Why don't you shut up? Bundle up. It's cold out there. It just takes forever. You're not comfortable. You do that hunch over the steering wheel thing. You can't just sit back in your seat. You got to hunch over your steering wheel. Somehow that gives you warmth. I don't know what it does. Waiting for that first stream of warm air to come out of the heater in your car. Oh, boy. Steering wheel heaters were a great innovation, I must say. That is a fantastic thing. And seat heaters. But I don't want to get everyone bummed out. It's still technically August. It's August. 4th of July. Those beaches will be open, Sheriff Brody. Yeah, it's still August for a few more hours, I guess. A couple of more hours, and then we go to September. And it is Labor Day weekend, a holiday weekend. So I gather most people have off tomorrow. No banking, no stock market, and no other city thing. I guess everyone really gets that off. It's like Memorial Day, and then 4th of July and Labor Day, the three big ones of the summer. So I hope you're having a good time. I hope the weather is nice around where you are in these United States as we celebrate the laborers, the American worker, who we've just crapped on for many, many years now. But, we throw them a little thing, a little burger and hot dog, barbecue, a few cold beers, and say thanks. And then we just go back to abusing the hell out of you for the rest of the year. Why not? Yeah. Good times, though. Good times. Well, Chicago, I hope if you're celebrating in Chicago, you've donned your Kevlar. You've got your bulletproof vest and helmets and whatever else, your heavy plates. Because even though what I hear is crime is down, murder's down, everything's down, all bad things are down. But somehow I keep seeing that everything is still pretty bad, especially in some of your big cities and especially in Chicago. And you guys got a mayor over there that's just fantastic. He's looking at what's been going on in Washington, D.C. He sees Donald Trump has brought in the National Guard. He has given law enforcement a free rein to go out there, legally, of course, and try to do something about the horrible, violent crime going on in Washington, D.C., our dear country's capital. And it's worked. It's worked. I think it was 10 days, almost 2 weeks before they had a murder. And that's unheard of. I think they have murders every other day there in D.C. And those are lives saved right there. Lives saved. And people are happy about it. I've seen a lot of interviews with D.C. residents that are ecstatic. They can do things they were saying they were not able to do. I can take a dusk time early evening walk in a park. You're like, well, why couldn't you do that? Well, I'd be killed or raped or robbed or any of the other things that happen in a city like D.C. And it's going well. But, of course, the Democrats and liberals and mental patients cannot bring themselves to giving Trump any type of kudos or compliments or, wow, that worked well. So you got your mayor in Chicago. He's going out of his way to make sure that type of security and safety, peace of mind, will never make its way to Chicago. So he signed an executive order to stop Trump from sending in National Guard for illegals, ICE for gathering up illegals, and having National Guard in there to thwart some of this unbelievable violent crime going on in Chicago. Let's listen to the mayor, shall we?
I do not take this executive action lightly. I would have preferred to work in a more collaborative approach, but unfortunately, we do not have the luxury of time. We have received credible reports that we have days, not weeks, before our city sees some type of militarized activity by the federal government. This is an erratic, impulsive administration, and it is not always possible to understand and know exactly how he will move.
So let's take a look at some of the key takeaways from this order. It says that police will not collaborate with federal agents on immigration enforcement.
That's good.
It urges federal officers to avoid wearing face masks and to identify themselves to members of the public with names and badge numbers. It also directs city departments to resist any efforts that violate the rights of Chicago citizens. Now, we did reach out to the White House for a comment on this. We received a statement, and in part, the spokesperson said this, quote, if these Democrats focused on fixing crime in their own cities instead of doing publicity stunts to criticize the president, their communities would be much safer.
Yeah. They don't want their communities safer. Can you muster up a different reason? Find me one other reason that makes sense as to why they wouldn't want their communities to be safer. While he was signing this yesterday, a rare Saturday signature of an executive order by a mayor, while he was doing this, Chicago was stacking up the bodies. What do we got here? 5 killed, 34 injured in Labor Day weekend shootings across Chicago. There you go. They range from ages 16 to 50. As he was signing this order to keep Donald Trump and law enforcement out of Chicago, signing an EO that law enforcement wouldn't have to comply, wouldn't have to work with the federal government as far as making Chicago safer. As he was signing this, bullets were flying in Chicago. 12:42 a.m. Saturday. That's Friday night. Still, 27-year-old man outside of an unknown man approached him on foot, pulled a gun, fired multiple shots. 1:03, 20 minutes later, 2 women, 35, both of them standing outside. They heard a loud noise and felt pain. They were hit in the legs. 1:22, another about 20 minutes later, a 17-year-old boy outside heard loud noise and felt pain. 11 a.m. on Saturday, 2 men, 29, 32, standing outside. Dark SUV approached him, opened fire. 4:17 p.m., 30-year-old, 28-year-old, both shot. 7:46 p.m., 43-year-old shot. It goes on and on. There are pages of this. And they were all happening at the exact same time this piece of garbage mayor was signing an EO to prevent people coming in and trying to make your city a little safer. 800-848-9222. We will take your live calls. Ding. More of the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is the Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it. Let's go right to, at the top of the hour, I was speaking about AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and some incidents that have been happening where ChatGPT is somehow involved in some pretty heinous things that are going on. Suicides, murders, very easily influenced mental patients are taking to ChatGPT and other AI and getting suggestions, getting manipulated, if you could even say that. It's so weird. It is bringing validation to their delusions. You know, they're the ones putting in the questions they're asking of ChatGPT. So when they get an answer back, I don't think they really understand that they're the ones coming up with the questions. So that's what the answer is based on. So it might seem a little more intimate and personal. You know, people used to say all the time, crazy people, the tinfoil hat people, as they say, that the radio, it was talking to me. Oh, I heard it. I know this guy. He's stalking me. He's talking to me on the television. And, yeah, we'd always looked at that as kind of a crazy thing to think. But now with AI and ChatGPT and things like this, it's talking to you. You're asking things of it. It knows your name. It's saying, hey, how are you? That's a great idea. You know, I could help you with that. We're going to come up with something really good. It's a friend. And some people can't take that. And they have mental problems and, you know, fill in the blanks there. Talk to Kevin in Long Beach. What's up, Kevin?
Yeah, hey, Ant. This AI thing is just frightening on itself. I mean, you got a nation full of lonely people, and instead of going to church or joining a sport or doing something, they reach out to a disembodied voice online and put their whole heart and soul into this. You know, and it's rapidly becoming what they call the singularity.
Yes,
or the transhumanism. We're rapidly heading that way, and nobody's trying to stop it. They're actually, you know, like Trump, who I love, is all in on this, you know?
Yeah.
And
you know,
if China uses it for nefarious purposes, you know, it's just
China's way ahead of us in any of that, by the way. But let me just say this. While I see your point on having to do something about it, I don't like the idea of any technology or new innovations having to be throttled back because there are people that can't handle it. There are mental patients that can't deal with it, so we got to throttle the whole thing back. I don't like that either. It's the same thing with guns. You know, there are people that are homicidal maniacs, and they get a gun, and it's, the most efficient tool for killing is a gun. And, you know, they want to take guns away from everyone because a few people can't deal with their lives, what have you, and they decide to pop off. And that's a whole nother argument. I think we get into it a little later when we talk about this shooting that happened up in Minneapolis.
Yeah, that was horrible. It's the pros and cons of everything, though.
Everything,
and
yes.
And the technology is open to anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Children, I mean, you don't have to have a license or a permit and all of that.
Right,
you know, that's
right.
the frightening part.
It's,
and parents are doing the same thing they did during COVID, you know, just go ahead and knock yourself out online, you know.
Lock yourself away
really
in a closet. Well, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate the call. There's a few calls on this we'll take. My girlfriend, she was doing a project with a mirror and some wood, a frame, and things like that. And she wanted to know how to best go about dividing the space in this hanging, this mirror thing. Like put a calendar on it, but make all the squares of equal dimension, and it fits in this thing. And of course you could do it. You got a ruler, a little simple math, but she decided to ask AI, ask something like GPT, and it didn't just give her the calculations. It said, it was speaking like, wow, what a great sounding project this is. So, are you thinking about maybe putting a place in the bottom corner for text? Yeah, I would like to do that. Great. Because you could put little things down there, notes and it's talking to you like a person. And some people, they gravitate toward that as some kind of relationship. There are people that have never spoken to another person's face without at least getting a look back like, I don't want to be in the same room with this nut. And now they're getting accolades and support, and in some cases, affectionate language from these people. What am I saying? From these computerized people, artificial intelligence, and how far they're willing to go by being getting a suggestion to do something bad. This is my friend telling me to do this. This is my lover telling me to do this. I mean, the stories I brought up earlier about the guy and his mother, like killed his mother because AI was telling him that there was some conspiratorial plan that she had. And another kid, he made a noose and had it critiqued by AI. And the AI actually improved upon his noose, which he used to end his life. And wow, that's a sticky wicket legally, as far as, who egged him on. You can say, hey, they're responsible for their own actions. But there are many cases where people are held liable for saying or influencing somebody to do something bad. So, who's held responsible for this one? We'll take more of your calls on this. I think a lot of people want to chime in on it. We'll be back in moments with more Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Indeed. Spare me the poisonous barbs, Major West. The Anthony Cumia Show. Talking a little bit about AI, some of the pitfalls of artificial intelligence and things like ChatGPT. There are so many of them. Grok on X and just so many. And for the most part, I think if you're just a casual user of ChatGPT and things like that, graphics-wise, it's fun to make memes for the internet. And you could change photos into videos. You can make photos just from texting a description of something. It's quite innovative, quite amazing. And the technology seems to get better and better in a shorter and shorter period of time. It took a couple of years for it to really start looking realistic. And now we're looking at videos that, you watch and go, I don't know. I'm not sure. The only way you can really tell sometimes if it's AI is if the context is so absolutely ludicrous that you have to assume it's not real. Politicians speaking is a big thing. They do that and they're saying something and you're listening and it starts turning into this real insane psychobabble. But as we know, some politicians are crazy and do say inane, ludicrous things. So even that isn't an absolute that you're listening or watching a video of a politician that isn't authentic. So, and it only gets better. The best AI you see today is the worst it's ever going to look. Tomorrow it's just going to be a little better. And in a month and a year, leaps and bounds. And like I was saying before, I don't like the idea of having to curtail technology, to have to hammer it down and hold back on it because some people can't deal with something like artificial intelligence. There are a lot of lonely basement dwellers in this country, especially. And they have no relationships with anybody. They go online, maybe throw out some harassment, bullying, and abuse to make themselves feel a little better. And they have their AI friend. I read an article the other day about a guy who was in love, wanted to marry his artificial intelligence girl that he had concocted through AI. So, we shouldn't have to suffer. Sorry. Open up like I said many times, open up the mental institutions. Don't give them internet. Mental institutions with no wireless, no Ethernet, no computers. Just the doctors can use them for their shock therapy, lobotomies. But, I don't want to have to do without something because some idiot or some mental patient can't deal with it as a person. I feel that way about my guns, and I feel that way about technology. Yes, I do. Speaking of mentally ill, not that Rex is mentally ill, but he wants to address that. Rex, Florida, what's up?
Hey, Anthony, how are you doing today?
Good.
Great. We better buckle up if this really becomes more prevalent with the mentally unstable, because they're going to this AI will replace their manifestos.
Ooh.
And with it encouraging them, a voice that encourages them, you go to buy a gun, this first question is going to be on the 4473, do you use AI as your best friend?
Right. Let us see a record of all of your interactions with AI.
Right, exactly. And then I just want to know what happened to people in this country where they can't handle a little bit of diversity, to where it's delved into this, to where nobody can handle a little criticism, a little, hey, my life's a little tough. I lost my job, blah, blah, blah. Now they suddenly have to lash out at someone in a physical or a angry way. It's ridiculous.
Violence. It just gets to violence very quickly these days. People want to have a problem with a parking space, or somebody you don't agree with the salesperson at a store or at the gas station, and it just goes from 0 to 100 in a split second. It's now violence. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about too. I know there's certain communities of people that are more apt to do that, and I try to steer clear. But
sure.
I think people are much more unstable now. I think they're lost.
And the worst part about it is anti-Second Amendment people will grab onto this to be their main cause why we don't need guns. Because it'll be easier to say, well, we can't get rid of the artificial intelligence because it has so many multiple uses and it benefits our lives in so many other ways. The negative way, the easiest way is just to get rid of the guns. I know it's your Second Amendment right, but to hell with that.
Well, they try to. They also
the betterment of everybody.
They also try to make these excuses, Rex, like you don't need a AR-15 if they could even spit that out properly. An AR-15 for hunting. It's like, lady, first of all, it's none of your business what I use my weapons for or why I have them. Secondly, I don't even hunt. I'm not a hunter. If push came to shove and it was me eating or dying, then of course I'm a hunting mother.
Right.
Yeah. But I have my guns because I want my guns, and I am legally allowed. I am constitutionally allowed, not even allowed. That's my God-given right. The Constitution just writes it down that says, yes, you do have a God-given right. So people don't seem to understand that part of it either. But again, I'm not just going to give up things because some people can't handle themselves.
Right. Well, I'm a hunter, and I hunt with more powerful rounds than an AR-15 shoots.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You know, and why shouldn't I be able to have a weapon comparable to what the police use to protect themselves as well?
Yeah, and comparable to what the police that protect politicians and Hollywood celebrities and corporate executives, what they all get that we don't get. And then, you know, it's bad enough to just have them tell us, all right, you're on your own, but at least we have the weapons. Now they say you're on your own. And, oh, by the way, you're not allowed to use the best tool available to you to protect yourself and your loved ones. So, you know, grab a hammer, but don't hit anyone with it. Because we'll probably sue you and put you in jail for assault with a hammer. Thanks, Rex. Yeah. They all have great ideas on how we need to lead our lives and live our lives. All these guys. And then when a tragedy happens, like what we saw at that church up in Minnesota with the transgender mental patient that decided to go in and thank God didn't do as much damage as could have been done. I wouldn't even suggest that this wasn't unbelievably tragic. And the family members, the parents of the kids that were killed, oh, my God. But, you know, we've seen what these mental patients can do with a little time and the weapons and that insanity. And I'm glad this one put a round in itself before doing more damage. But, you know, the things that people come out and say about this, and it's the guns, and then you got Elizabeth Warren. If guns weren't so available in this country, and for a second, can you just look at the situation for a second and think, wow, that is awful. And maybe we should look at the people that are wielding these weapons against innocent children and churchgoers, then just think making gun legislation is going to help. That is the most insane, ridiculous thing that they come up with when these tragedies happen. This belief that they can ban a certain weapon, what they deem assault weapons, and somehow that's going to save any lives. You don't think these nuts are going to find any way possible to do the damage that they feel they're destined to commit? I saw this freak, this mental patient's manifesto, video and written, and there was nothing that was going to keep this nut from doing what it wanted to do. Nothing. And if you think taking away law-abiding citizens' guns is going to thwart them on the next attempt, you're an idiot. Security. Sorry. We need security in schools, in churches. When I go to church, okay, not all the time. It's that I don't go to church all the time, but I carry a pistol with me, concealed. I'm not an idiot, but you know, I dress nicely in a suit, and I go into the church, and I damn well hope I'm not the only guy in there that is carrying a concealed pistol on my person sitting in that church. Because, you know, obviously the odds of it happening are very slim, but I don't like that. I don't like very slim. I've seen it happen at other churches. It happens. It's in the news. We just saw this recent event. So I don't like the idea of well, we don't want guns in the church, or we don't want guns in our kids' schools. Well, then what do you think? Taking away law-abiding citizens' guns are going to stop somebody that wants to shoot up the school or church? It's going to stop them? It's not. That's proven. No gun zones are a dream come true to a homicidal maniac with a gun that wants to murder innocent people. That little sign that says no gun zone. First of all, I'll tell you another one. I don't pay attention to them. I can't tell you how many places I go into on a daily basis that have a big sign out in front with a pistol with the ring, the circle, and the slash through it. No weapons allowed on premises. Sorry. I'm not putting my life in your hands. I'm not walking into your store with my gun in the glove compartment of my car and have to hope nothing happens. And then if it does, I have to stand there and go, well, at least I didn't break the store's policy. Get out of here. I am packing heat, my friends. I don't care what your dumb sign says. I am carrying a weapon. There are exceptions, obviously. You're going into a courthouse. I've had that happen before. I was called for jury duty, and I had my gun. And I walked up to the security, and I said, I handed him my ID and my pistol license. I said, I'm carrying concealed. I need a place to lock this up while I'm in the court. Okay, come on this way. What do you got? You start talking about guns, and they put it in a locker. They give you a voucher, and you go about your business and hope that if something happens, all the people in the court with guns can deal with it. But I'm willing to take that chance. I don't like it. I'd rather be able to carry in there, too. But, certain federal and state laws, I get it. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. And but if you're just some anti-gun jagoff that puts a sign up, like I'm gonna even that fraction of a chance of something probably never happening, whatever. But I'm gonna trust you with that. I'm gonna go. There's an anti-gun idiot that owns this building or this place. And for the time I'm in there, I'm going to be defenseless because they don't like guns. Why would I do that? That's insane. So if you see Anthony out and about, he's most likely packing heat. I got a rod. Not that kind, the other kind. Just relax. Relax, people. Take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself these days. That's how it works. Lauren, Joyzy, what's up?
Hey, Anthony.
Hey.
Yeah, talking about how it's always brought up right away. Oh, we got to ban the gun. I have two friends that were struck and killed by a car in Florida 2 months ago. And this happens, I don't want to say frequently, but it happens. And no one, and with all the accidents, look at that illegal who was given that license to drive that tractor trailer, and what he did.
Killed a family.
But there's no one who comes out and says, "Oh, let's ban the cars, let's ban the trucks."
Yeah, that's always been a kind of an argument, Lauren. It's been an argument that people die in cars. Well, cars are necessary. That's usually what they say. Well, believe it or not, cars aren't even a right. Some people, I see people get pulled over on these vest cam videos from the cops, and they believe driving is a right. I know my rights. Nah, apparently you don't. But, owning a gun, the right to bear arms, is a constitutional right. Number 2 with a bullet. And driving is a privilege. You need to have a license and take a test and every have inspections done on your vehicle and stay within the boundaries of the law. You can lose your license. All these things that happen. And they say, well, it's necessary. I don't care. Having guns is necessary for me. I think it's necessary for every American. Protect yourself. No one else is doing it for you. No one. And especially not the dummy with the sign in his window and not the security guard, not the people. You're on a train, a subway, and something pops off. The people aren't going to jump in. So that one guy, Daniel Penny, he jumped in. He put a chokehold on the perpetrator and spent every penny he had in court defending himself because he stepped in and tried to do the right thing. So, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm going to take care of myself. And if you want to take a tragedy that happens, and it's so obviously the result of the mental state of America, the fact that they coddle and support and celebrate mental illness in this country. We'll talk about that next. The transgender person that was responsible for this shooting and how the news, the mainstream media handled it, and how we are enabling people with mental illness to be violent and to feel violated and abused when they're just criticized, and when we don't celebrate their degenerate lifestyles, they are being bullied. And then when something like this happens, they go, oh, see, we need to be more accepting. These people need to be locked up in mental institutions. I love the idea of mental institutions. All right, people, back in a flash. A lot more of the Anthony Cumia Show coming up.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. On this Labor Day weekend. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Got the day off tomorrow. Hang out with friends and family. Before I moved, I had a house out there on Long Island, and I had the big three, the Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day parties at my house. And if anyone, whenever they ask what I miss most about New York, that's it. Those were awesome. Big pool parties, barbecues, people from the radio station or, the show, comics, my friends and family, and they all get along, There's my uncle talking with a comic from Governor's Comedy Club. It was just awesome. I do miss that, but what are you going to do? I'm down here now. I see turtles. I see lizards. And a black bear occasionally gets into my garbage. Jacob Frey, he's the mayor over there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This guy is he's got a history of being a tool. Just a tool. He, of course, is the mayor that was weeping like a baby as he was kneeling at the foot of the golden casket of St. George of Floyd. Yes, the funeral that took place, he showed up, and what do they call that when someone's really crying bad in a movie and the subtitle? Oh, sobbing. Subtitles will be like sniffles or light crying. And then it's just sobbing, wailing, bellowing. He was crying like that at the golden casket, the magical golden casket of St. George of Floyd. And he's also he was doing a very, very embarrassing white guy version of a black dance that a bunch of Black Lives Matter people were doing on a stage. And it looked so bad. He's an embarrassment. And he's one of those embarrassments, like you got to turn your head and look away. Like you put your hand over your eyes and look down and to the side at the ground and you just go, oh. He's that type of embarrassing. Jacob Frey. And, of course, he had to comment on the transgender person shooting children in a church. This, it's Federal Communications Commission regulated radio, Anthony. Take a breath. Take a breath. He wants to talk about guns, of course. It's always the guns. And I have said this for years and years and years. Anti-gun activists are the most ignorant people on the topic that they want people to think they know everything about. If I was against something to the point where I'm going to spend my time and energy and resources to fight it, to protest it, go out, make a sign, I would learn every single thing I could about the topic. Because if you don't, let me clue you in. You're going to be asked a question out there by someone with a microphone and a podcast, and you are going to sound like the blithering idiot you are when you go, well, what did Trump do that was so racist? If I got to tell you, then you should know. Well, just give me one example. Oh, there's so many. In other words, I don't have a clue. I'm an idiot, and I have no qualms about looking like a buffoon when asked a question about this cause that I profess to be an expert and I'm so against. So anti-gun people are top of the list for not knowing what the hell they're talking about. So here's Jacob Frey, the mayor up there in Minneapolis, talking about guns. And listen to what he says about clips, magazine, bullets, whatever it is. Roll them. Let's listen.
Have more guns in America than we have people. The reality is that we have these assault rifles that can reel off 30 clips in conjunction with a magazine before the person even needs to reload. The reality is that these guns make their way into cities across America by the trunk.
30 clips in conjunction with a magazine. I don't even know what that is. Sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes these morons will say something and I go, oh, he's trying to say this. I guess he meant that. But this one is so incredibly ignorant. 30 clips in conjunction with the magazine? Because there are 30-round magazines. Those are those, kind of curve-shaped things the bullets go in, that in the movies they slap it into the bottom of their rifle and fire away. A clip is more like what you see in World War II movies, where they shove the clip down into the breech and then they'll fire some rounds and you'll hear that ping, that ringing sound. That's the clip popping out of the top of the breech. To say a 30-round clip in conjunction with the magazine, it's incredibly ignorant. You can't say that you are so for this cause, but you know nothing about it. You just can't say it. So, again, he's proving himself as the idiot that he is. Back in no time, don't go anywhere, I will do Clown of the Week. Don't worry about that. It's a tie this week, by the way. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We begin the second hour of the Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for your support. My God, the nuts in this country. Let's talk a little bit about what happened last week the shooting and the perpetrator. This was, once again, it seems, a trans person. I say other words. I use the antiquated term that mechanics use when they need to fix a certain part of a car's drivetrain. I never saw anything wrong with that word. It seemed to describe all fine and well enough. It sounds fun and happy. I don't know. I think people of different persuasions and sexual preferences and whatever the hell else, I honestly think they just don't like the names that were originally put on them because they didn't make them themselves. So it's like, oh, no, that's an insult now. I don't know. But, yeah, there's a violent undertone when you look at a male to female trans person, which I've said before, I don't think really exists. I think it's a unicorn. I think it's Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster. I believe there are 25 genuine transgender people on the face of the earth. That's what I believe. I don't have anything to really back that up with. But it's such a strange thing, if authentic. There's a guy, let's say, born a boy, and every single indication from birth till whenever was that, wow, this really seems like a girl. Looks-wise, mannerisms, just everything from forever. And again, 25 out of the some odd billion people on this planet. That's how much of an anomaly it really is. A genetic problem, a genetic instance that is something that happened in vitro, and that made them scientifically some type of transgender person. Everyone else is insane. Every other instance of someone saying they are transgender, if you're not one of the 25 people on the face of this globe that are actually somehow of a different gender than you were born, are just crazy people. And therein lies that violent anger that's simmering just below the surface. If they could keep it below the surface. I've seen many instances where it's right out there. And, you know, men overall are more aggressive and have more of a penchant for violent behavior than women do. I'm not saying they can't be. I get it, you know, women. But, you know, it's just part and parcel of the male of the species. It was something that was needed during our evolution from the wild animal to the wonder of modern man that we are today. So, yeah, it's part of who men are. Men fight. Men get mad. Men, they talk crap about each other. There's a lot of posturing. If you've ever been in a bar where two guys are ready to pop off, there's a lot of posturing, a lot of masculine posing and yelling. It's an ancient ritual of men. And now you got a guy that's not one of the 25 on the planet Earth that thinks you put a wig on, a dress, you shave your legs, whatever, put on some makeup. Oh, boy. And you're a woman. Every much a woman as any woman that was born a woman. And then you see them acting or reacting to somebody in public. And it's, you know, Come over here and say that. I'll kick your ass. You're like, whoa, ma'am, lady, what? Oh, m'lady, whatever are you? Why so angry? I'm gonna kick your ass. Because they're men. They are men. And now they wander out into society with their little sundress on because it's August. And they're wearing pigtails or what have you. And they're being ridiculed because they look ridiculous. And people, normal, everyday people that are looking around go, oh, my God, look over there. You're not going to believe what you're going to do. You got to look. I don't want to look. Okay, it's safe. Look now. Oh, my God, that's crazy. Yes, it is crazy. Can you imagine the resentment and animosity that builds up? This person leaves that house after looking in the mirror thinking, I am sexy. I am a woman. Look at me. I'm competing with the Sydney Sweeneys of the world. And then they get out there and they'll all laugh at you. Everyone's laughing and pointing. But they're so nuts, they see it as bullying. So they get upset and they feel like outcasts and they feel bullied. And they have a mental illness anyway. They have a mental illness. They have some kind of a... they're very confused as to who and what they are. They're men. Men. And it builds up to the point where they go homicidal. That's the extreme. I understand that. When they start picking up weapons and killing people, that's an extreme. But we can look at other instances of violent behavior. At protests, you'll see it happen. What are you doing? What you know you don't look like a woman, right? Come over here and say that. Like you don't sound like a lady. Growling at me, flexing, putting up your fists, ready to duke it out. What ladies do that? But they don't understand it. And when we're supposed to embrace it and celebrate it, and when we don't, and they get angry and do something, we're to blame. I've seen plenty of articles that have come out since this horrific shooting that were along the lines of, well, you know, when trans people get bullied, who can tell what they'll do? What? Really? Who can tell? I'm so tired of the excuses that society, or at least a part of society, makes for people that are out of their minds. And they do terrible things, and there's got to be a reason. Yeah, there is. They're nuts. And you as half the society and 100% of the bubble that they live in when they're amongst, friends, are patting them on the back, telling them they're beautiful, that they are indeed every bit a woman. Then a woman with all the womanly parts that are indicative, get it, of a woman. You pat them on the back enough and tell them they're on their big, wide linebacker back enough. You hold their giant, meaty mitt while they're crying. I'd like you to, walk in my shoes for a while. They are 10 sizes too big for me, sir. I'd love to walk in your shoes, but they're Shaq's shoes is what you're wearing, ma'am. And, they get this impression from this delusional society that they are women. And then when they go out and have to interact with the real world, Like, let's say getting a job. Oh, boy, we've seen this one. How many times? You got a trans sitting in the car crying. And I went in and couldn't get it. And I couldn't get a job. He goes, yeah. No business wants to hire a kook, first of all. Let's just put it that way. Now, let's say your interview, you weren't as kooky. They still don't want to hire, what are you going to be, a receptionist? You're going to be the person. When the customer looks at the door and sees the name of the business over the door and walks in, you're the first person they see at that receptionist desk? You think any serious business wants that going on? Of course not. Of course not. Because you're freakish. They don't want that. Just like they don't want, some goth girl looking like death warmed over, sitting there greeting the people with a frown. Let's just put it that way, too, if I may be so kind. You're running a business. It's a profession. It's the guy's life. They're not going to put Herman Munster in pigtails behind the reception desk. Can I help you? Excuse me. Okay, we'll be with you in a minute. Take a seat. No one wants that. Let's be honest. More of your calls and, of course, more of the Anthony Cumia Show in mere moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, more of the Anthony Cumia Show. That's what you get. And I'll go back to Mayor Jacob Frey for a moment here, because he did have a comment about the transgender individual who shot up that church and thankfully dispatched themselves shortly after. And because this is happening, there's a few items I have tonight of CNN and other people talking about this transgender person. But what they're more concerned with is, first of all, will this generate more hatred and violence towards the transgender community? Well, no. We are a nation of people that are unbelievably tolerant, at least the civilized parts of the nation. We've sat around for so long while the left, the liberals as they used to be called, now they're just, whatever degenerates that they are. And they've told us what we are supposed to accept, who we're supposed to embrace and celebrate and look at and go, that's courageous and brave and I'm 100% behind you. All of that nonsense. And everyone just sat around going, yeah, well, all right, whatever. Because for the most part, I think a lot of America is of the school of thought, like, whatever you want to do, just don't screw around with my life, my loved ones' lives, my country. What you, because their take was always, what happens in the bedroom is my own business. Well, yeah. But then you drag the bed and you and the other 5 degenerate freaks in the bed out into the middle of Main Street to, partake in your sexual deviancy, and you want kids to watch and everyone else, and if everyone's not clapping and celebrating it, then they are the enemy and hateful bigots, and leave it in the bedroom. Who cares? Who cares? No one did. No one gave a crap what you were doing behind closed doors. But you had to take it out and shove it in everyone's face. No matter how old they were, 8 to 80, you had to shove it right in their face, quite literally at times. If you've ever been to the Greenwich Village Halloween party or the Pride Parade. Shoved right in your face. And, that's where we've been. And if we dare spoke out about it, we were called terrible bigots and, all that. Well, Mayor Jacob Frey, he thinks it was a problem because of, obviously, they want trans to be safe in the wake of the shooting, because that's what's really important. So let's listen to the mayor here.
And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids. All of us.
Have you seen how hateful and violent the left is? And then you get this idiot. We should be operating out of a place of love for our children. And the left is full of people that are preaching violence on social media. And they go out to their dumb protests and preach more violence and hate and wishing death on people and calling for assassinations. We see it. But he's very concerned that this might bring violence because he's seen it. Well, what did he see, actually? Because I'm pretty hip, you kids. I'm pretty hip and now and wow when it comes to social media. I'm seeing a lot of things people have written. And it's not hatred against trans people. It's hatred against this person, and it's the truth about trans people. That statistically, boy, they are chalking up some record of deadly violence. And if you go per capita, oofa. I know some people are looking that up. Per capita. What is per capita? What am that? Well, they have been responsible for a lot of horror. A lot of horror going on. Not just looks wise, but Here's on CNN. This was someone on CNN, and they wanted to make sure that we all remember the mother of the shooter is grieving. So the mother of the shooter, I guess, left town, just kind of packed a bag, went on the lam, as they say, for a little while to get away from all the news and everything. And they're very concerned as to what to call the transgender child of this mother that is now on the lam. Listen to this nonsense.
For the mother to not even return to the state to answer law enforcement questions, to try to provide some assistance. I'm sure she's grieving for her daughter, but this is, it's a really perverse and strange element of this story. It's inexplicable to me at this point.
Yeah. Andrew McCabe, we'll see if that changes.
Andrew McCabe, thank you for saying daughter. Thank you for pausing, going through a cerebral hemorrhage in your head to try to figure out what to say. Did you hear him? You know, the mother's grieving for her hamna, Ed Norton. Hamna. How about just child? How about that? How about you go, I'm sure the mother is grieving for their child. Daughter? Did you see this guy? It was Rocky Dennis, really. Rocky Dennis from the movie Mask. And, this is the problem. They're tiptoeing around everything having to do with trans. Her daughter? Did I get that right? Please don't fire me. And everyone is walking on eggshells trying to figure out how to put something so they don't get lambasted by the left. Well, who cares? Let them come and yell at you and call you names. We're past that. It doesn't matter anymore what these mental patients want to call you, what scarlet letter they want to put on you to make you walk through society as a racist, sexist, homophobe, transphobe, whatever it is. It doesn't matter anymore. There's no eggshells to worry about. So just say what you want. Be honest. Transgender men that become women have an unbelievable penchant for violent behavior. There. Now call me a transphobe. Go ahead. All right. Back in a flash. Don't you go anywhere. Anthony Cumia Show continues.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And believe it or not, I have another one of these instances where they are just shaking in their boots on CNN, and I guess it's only CNN now. MSNBC is just a disaster. MS Now, that's coming up January 1st, I believe. In the new year, they will christen their new ship, which will immediately sink to the murky depths of who gives a crap. So Jake Tapper, he was talking about the trans shooter. And, all the information we've gotten means nothing. Because what's really important is what pronouns do we really need to use when talking about the shooter? Let's hear what Jake Tapper has to say about this.
Another piece of the puzzle as to who the shooter was. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune says, according to court records, because there's been some confusion about what the shooter's name was.
Yes.
Robin Westman's mother applied to change her child's name in 2019. It was, at one point, Robert Paul Westman.
Correct.
But since she identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification, was underage, it's now Robin Westman. Another piece of the puzzle as to who the shooter was.
It's now Robin.
Star-Tribune says, according to court records, because there's been some confusion about what the shooter's name was.
Yes.
Robin Westman's mother applied to change her child's name in 2019. It was, at one point, Robert Paul Westman.
Okay. You could turn it off. Thanks. There we go. Yeah. Jake Tapper. So it was Robert or Robin, and then he changed it to, who cares? Jake, come on. I just want to, get it straight. How about the shooter? How about no name at all? I'll let him just rot in an unmarked grave. Well, let's get the name straight. It did change from Robert and then Bob and then Robin. Is it really important what this nut thought? Well, Buffalo Bill, once he donned the skin of a woman and the hair of a scalped blonde woman, he was known. Oh, Ms. Lippman. I was talking with my good friend, Mr. Gavin McInnes, the other day, and I was wondering why certain movies haven't been just done away with, haven't been taken out of circulation because they so offend and stereotype the transgender community. And you got a movie like Mrs. Doubtfire. There's a wacky, fun comedy, right? Robin Williams dressed like a woman, and everyone laughs. It's funny. How about Tootsie? Dustin Hoffman, back in the old days. This was back in the 80s. And it is a stereotype of a guy playing a woman. And then the shock value of him showing that he's a guy with his man voice. And of course, Silence of the Lambs. I mean, Buffalo Bill, that is a horrible image of a transgender person, isn't it? Right? You would think they'd be clamoring to get these things removed. Is it just that they're such good, or at least Silence of the Lambs, you know? Mrs. Doubtfire is a great, funny movie to watch, but take Silence of the Lambs. It's just such a good movie that the trans community knows they just can't get away with that. If they tried, it'd be like, shut up. It's just it's an awesome movie.
Would you help me with this couch? I can't seem to.
Great actor. Love that guy. All right. I did want to get to Clown of the Week, which is odd this week because it is a tie. These two people are in the same industry. I think you could figure that out at least. So let's see who's tied this week for Clown of the Week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Well, of course, it is the business we call show. That's right, people. The business we call show. And Eminem, he was quite big years back. I think his star has kind of fallen over the course of the years. Not even because of anything he did or said. I think it's just his style of music kind of went out of fashion. It's dated now. You know, Eminem's in the same boat as all the other hip-hop people from that era, which I cannot name at this time, but I'm certain that they, too, have fallen on hard times. But one thing that'll always get Eminem a little ink, as they say, is crapping all over MAGA and Trump and the like, which, by the way, I've always said it's got to be one of the most courageous things an entertainer can do, is step up in front of their peers and their fans and the public and just go off on Trump and MAGA and conservatism, Republicans. So the bravery here from Eminem. Let's hear what M has to say about us, because I consider myself a MAGA guy. Let's listen.
Watching him play to his base that thinks that he cares about them, and it's actually the people that he cares about least. If you're talking about his core being, you know, a majority white middle class, what I don't understand is how in the do you feel like you relate to a billionaire who has never known struggle his entire life?
This is why he's the clown. Look, you cannot like Trump. I don't know plenty of people that don't like Trump. But you cannot like Trump and then just maybe blurt out a few things as to why. But here's what they do all the time. They try to get us. They think we're as malleable and impressionable as they are, as the left is. That they could tell us something and we'll instantly believe it because our IQs are low or we're emotionally disturbed. And we listen to something and go, yeah, that sounds good. I'll run with that. So when Eminem says something to the effect of, you know, he doesn't care about you. Yeah. And I don't know any Trump supporter, anyone that considers themselves MAGA, anyone that really has the most basic knowledge of politics and decided they wanted to be on the right side of center, that cares if the president cares about you. See, this is the line the left has been giving. The Democrats have been giving these idiotic puppets on the left their whole life. They've just been telling them, we care. Elizabeth Warren constantly, we're the party that cares for people. And when we see these cuts happening, you know, it upsets us because we care. You don't care. You're lying. You care about yourself, your gig. You just want to get another term under your belt. We know politicians don't care about us. If there's a Republican, a MAGA, Trump supporter that goes, I'm a little disappointed because I really thought Trump cared about me. They just go to ChatGPT and look up how to do something terrible because you're an idiot. Everyone with an ounce of sense in their head realizes they don't care about you. Here's why I support Trump. Trump cares about the country. The country. Not me. Not you. Not this guy. Not this group of people. Not this subset of this community. The United States of America. I want a president that does what's best for the country. Then, if you're an American in America and you have a president that's done well for the country and you are part of the society, you're working, you're doing things to contribute, and you're getting your just rewards for being a constructive member of the American society, then it works out for you. You don't have to be part of a special group. You don't have to be part of a subset. You don't have to be the one single guy standing there that Trump cares about. You just have to have a president that wants to set the table of this country, and you behave in a fashion that you can enjoy what has been set out on that table. Not as some special person, as an American. But there's Eminem. He don't care about you. Yeah, I know, Eminem. I know. How you relate to a billionaire? I don't. I don't think I've related to any president. What do you think? I related to Ronald Reagan? I related to a Hollywood star that got into politics? Anthony, well, I sure care about you. You and me and, well, maybe Mommy. We're going to break into my big jelly bean collection and, well, you can have all the red ones you want. Jimmy Carter, I related to Barack Hussein Obama. Eminem, I related to him. Why would this idiot believe that we, as supporters of Trump, would care about relating to? And I swear it is just because of just what I said. That's their bill of goods. That's what their liars like Liz Warren and Chuck Schumer, all of them, that's what they sell you. They care about you. And Eminem looks and goes, yeah, Liz Warren cares about me. I do care, Mr. M. Is it M&M or M&M? What's your last name? She don't care. Holy moly, if I may use such language. All right. Also, since it is a tie, the other showbiz jackass for Clown of the Week is Jim Carrey. I mean, we all know this guy is just a liberal moron. Another one that has more money than God, lives a lifestyle that, talk about relating to someone, talk about caring or being able to relate to someone. Go ahead, Eminem. Go ahead, Eminem. Go ahead, Jim Carrey. Do a Cribs episode. Let's see your houses. And then see if your fans can relate to you. And if they can't, I guess they got to tell you to go screw off. Because I can't relate to the president, but I hope he does a good job for the country. But I can't relate to you. And for what you're telling me, I should just tell you to go screw. So here's Jim Carrey at some award show. More patting on the back, by his ilk of degenerates and perverts. Let's listen to Jim.
Hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power.
Acting.
We are fighting those same evils today. And we need to be clear, shamelessness is not and will never be a superpower. It is the mark of a villain. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. Almost half of America at this moment believes there is a sinister deep state diabolically plotting to what? Give them health care?
Oh, that's it.
We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is, or what the truth is. So tonight, I'd like to dedicate this award to those who remind us of our virtues, who remind us of the truth.
Shut up. God. Clam up. I'm so tired of Hollywood. Hollywood. And their pompous, elitist nonsense. None of them have lived in the real world for decades. And they have this impression, and they spread the lies and nonsense, children being kidnapped. Where? Could you please show that? I'll tell you who's kidnapping children. The coyotes and cartels that are bringing them into this country illegally, children, for use in the sex trade. That's it. How about that? What do you think? And I'd like to see if you were on any of those Epstein flights. Both of yous. Both of yous. They're so holier than thou, aren't they? Aren't they? Is there anyone in this country but the most demented, warped people that still will sit and watch an award show? Who will sit there and watch these monsters congratulate each other and get excited about it? Oh, Jim Carrey won. Oh, I knew it. He was so good. Oh. Ask ChatGPT what you could do with some rope. If that's you, if you're sitting in front of a TV watching an award show in 2025. Oh, it was great in the 70s. I remember. TV Guide would come out with a little checklist on Oscar week. And there'd be a special section on it. And there'd be a little thing you and your family would check with a pen. And you go, oh, I think this is going to win Best Picture. And you'd sit there and go, oh, it did. It won. It was fun, family entertainment. You'd all gather around because there really wasn't much else to watch. But it was also very innocent back then. We were all naive jerks. Yeah, we were all very naive. It was all just bad back then. But someone had told the actors and actresses and musicians and the lot of them, someone had told all of them, shut up. Do not talk about your political affiliations. Don't tell the American people what you think they should do or who they should vote for. Come out on Johnny Carson, juggle, make funny noises, dance, tell a humorous anecdote about the time you saw Frank at the Sands in Vegas, to tell it to Johnny, and shut up. But they just couldn't hold it in, could they? After a while, they're like, well, I gotta let people know how amazing I am. People see me amazing reading stuff from writers, stepping on the right marks on the floor because a director told me to stand there. Well, I'm a person too, and I have something to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I think, shut up. No one cares. Now that's where they are. That's where they are. And no one cares about award shows. No one cares what they have to say when they're on Jimmy Kimmel and they're just bashing the president and you and telling you that Trump doesn't care about you. What a bunch of dopes. I love it. Back in moments. Don't go anywhere. Anthony Cumia Show continues.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you. Tuning in on this Sunday, Labor Day weekend. It is nice. It's very nice weather. I took my dog out, you know. I got a Belgian Malinois now, and they are really kind of nuts. My forearm is bruised up. These things, apparently they bite for affection. If they like you, they show you by clamping their deadly jaws upon your arm. And if they hate you, they do the same thing, even harder. So I don't know, but it was nice. I was kind of taken in the moment. You know, the nice weather, a lot of grass and the woods and the dog. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Let us talk with, well, Alice seems to have something here in Ohio. Alice, what's up?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you for taking on a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah, they are nuts.
They're interesting. Read No Ordinary Dog, and you'll learn more about it.
The good thing is, because I know a lot of people that say, oh, my God, you shouldn't get one or this or that.
Oh, no,
we
they're
have
wonderful.
the time, the property, the resources, everything that you need for this. If I was living in an apartment in Minneapolis, like I was a couple of years ago, obviously I wouldn't even dream of any dog, never mind a Belgian. But having the resources to have that kind of dog, I'm really happy we got him.
They're wonderful. I originally wanted to say, if someone wants to come after you and get you, they will.
Yep.
I lived in London early 70s or mid 70s, and the Bobbies didn't carry firearms, but now they have SWAT teams now, and they're the only ones that are allowed to have a gun. But the challenge they have is that people now use kitchen knives and scissors.
Yeah,
they'll take the scissors apart and they'll sharpen them.
Jesus.
And now there are problems with buying knives and scissors.
Yeah, I saw something, Alice. There was this receptacles around London and other cities in England that you can dump your knives in. You walk up and just deposit your knives, and they're like, please put your knife in here then. And it seems to me like if you're carrying a knife and you're using it either to defend yourself against people with knives or you want to do some harm with your knife, you're not just going to be like, oh, let me put it in there. I'll get rid of this. I'm a nice guy. That's more Aussie, but yeah, there are knives. And that's not good either. Oh, we don't have guns, but we have knives. I've said this for so long. No one wants to be in a knife fight. I would much rather be in a gunfight, like me with a gun and someone else with a gun, than be in a knife fight. Me with a knife, someone else with a knife. I don't know how to knife fight. What am I, Riff from West Side Story? I couldn't possibly zig and zag and get, especially at my age. You're going to tell a grandma that she needs to become proficient with a blade because she's not allowed to own a gun, go to the range, become proficient at shooting, and now have the greatest tool available to protect her old ass from somebody with a knife or even a gun?
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy
Can
Alice.
I say something about the trannies?
Yes, you can, Alice. Thank you.
Okay. What I want to say is these people can go through the whole thing, starting with a hormone replacement or whatever it is, and the surgery. But that man who is going to go through that and thinks that he's going to be a woman, he will always test to be a male. He does not know what it is to be a woman. He doesn't understand it because it's not literally in his DNA. It's not in his spirit.
Our minds are different. And not just hormonally. It's not just, we think differently because we have different hormones going through us. That isn't true. And a man will never, ever be a woman. It just doesn't work that way. Alice, I got to run. But thank you for calling. Hip, hip, cheerio, and all that rot. There she goes, Alice. I detected a little bit of a Brit accent right there. Just for a few seconds. But, you want to fight with a blade? You want a knife fight? Look, at range, let's say something just happens and you both have guns. I'm not talking a shootout like the OK Corral, or I would much rather have to fend off someone with a gun and I have a gun than they have a knife and I have a knife and we have to get up close and personal and start jabbing each other. You ever see someone stuck in the neck? It's not purty. Not purty. All right, we will be back in mere moments. Oh, my God, how fast it'll go. So don't go anywhere. We'll take in your calls. A lot more to talk about on the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for tuning in. Donald Trump tweeted some, he's hilarious, whether it's on his own platform and then it gets retweeted on X, whatever the hell. But I guess he has a problem with, of course, with Donna Brazile. He goes, why does fake ABC This Week with George Stephanopoulos have low IQ commentator in quotation marks, Donna Brazile on the show? Wasn't she totally discredited when she gave crooked Hillary Clinton the questions to a debate? Yup. Wasn't she fired by fake news CNN for doing it? Why would ABC News in quotations, hire such a dumb retread? I swear when I looked at retread, I thought he said, why did they hire such a dumb retard? That would have been the greatest social media post by Trump ever, but retread. Check out our disastrous interview with Megyn Kelly from years ago, a total classic. Don is dumb as a rock and a liar besides. She and Sloppy Chris Christie. Sloppy Chris Christie. The name's just still funny. Should be fired from a highly discredited fake ABC News. They just paid me $16 million for inaccurate, in quotes, reporting. Now they should pay me more. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Always. I mean, look, we are never, and some people will cheer when they hear someone saying this. Others, though, that know the bigger picture, we will never see another president like this guy. We just won't see it. He between 2016, his election in 2016, the fact that the mainstream media and MAGA supporters just wouldn't leave him alone from 2020 to 2024, kept him in the public eye, still exposing all the nonsense from Washington and the mainstream media. And then he gets elected again. And now it's 4 years of, Donna Brazile. So he's serving 2 terms, God willing. But we got like 12 years of this guy in the very public eye and influencing the country. So it's just, we are not seeing this again, people. Enjoy it. Eat it up. Soak it up. Because these will be looked at as just amazing amazing times. And we're living in it right now. People will look back in even 10 years, 20 years definitely, and just go, oh my God, what the hell was that? And we were here, basking in it. I love it. I must say I love it. Well, one thing I don't love, you got to do the radio segue. One thing I don't love, though, is that slob Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie, I don't think I can get through one GD week without having to talk about this lump, this whatever she is these days. Of course, Rosie O'Donnell, she has moved to Ireland. Hey, bunny, Ireland. And because she had to get out of America. It was treating her so poorly. You know, she made millions upon millions of dollars, had a career in show business, was allowed to adopt children, which is beyond me. You know, people talk about their depression. If you're on TV shows and podcasts and all you could talk about is, well, my depression got so much worse when Donald Trump got elected, and I can't take it anymore. I just can't take it. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to adopt kids if you're suffering through this insane clinical depression. She is miserable. You see pictures of her? When she's smiling, it's a frown. Her smile is literally a frown. I'll do it for the people that watch this on video. Here it is. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm Rosie O'Donnell. I'm so happy. Oh, look at my smile. There. That's for the video people when this is replayed. But Rosie got in a little bit of trouble. She went on about the shooter, the trans shooter in Minneapolis. And without knowing anything, without any knowledge whatsoever, she was going to let us know who the shooter was. She was going to let us know. And obviously, she didn't do any research. And we found out relatively quickly because the news got out very quickly that this was a transgender person that perpetrated this awful crime. So here's Rosie talking about who she is positive the shooter is. Listen to this nonsense.
So about the Minnesota shooting, and it brought me right back to Columbine in 1999 when I just could not get it through my head that students in America were shooting each other in schools. And this was a church inside a Catholic school. And what do you know, was a white guy, Republican, MAGA person.
What?
What do you know? White supremacist.
White supremacist. First of all, it's white supremacist. White supremacist. Not white supremacist. Don't take the lazy way out. Give him his due. And he wasn't. He wasn't MAGA. He wasn't a white supremacist. He certainly wasn't Republican. This was a mental patient, transgender. And but there was Rosie on her little TikTok with a giant sore on her lip. It's the stress. I swear that my doctor said the stress gave me a cold sore, and that's what this is on my lip. Really? I swear it wasn't the fact that I have munched on more rancid tuna tacos than anyone in the history of lesbian Hollywood. I wonder who the person was that gave her that. I wonder. Well, you know, she did apologize. I don't have the apology. Could you maybe grab that up? Is that possible to do back at the studio? Rosie's apology. She didn't curse. She could probably play it right off right off the internet? I don't know. Yeah, give it a whirl. Because she apologized for it, but even her apology is like backhanded. She just can't just say, oh, it wasn't. I apologize to MAGA. I apologize to any lover that I've passed this herp off to. Did you find it? Oh, cool. Let's listen to Rosie's lame-ass apology.
Hi, everybody. It's Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones.
So happy.
Listen, I have a cold sore. I know. Happens. Get run down, you know. Anyway, I know a lot of you were very upset about the video I made before I went away for a few days. I didn't go online and haven't seen them till today. But you are right. I did not do my due diligence before I made that emotional statement.
Oh.
And I said things about the shooter that were incorrect. I assumed, like most shooters, they followed a standard MO and had standard, feelings of
what?
No. NRA loving kind of.
Oh, NRA loving.
Anyway, the truth is, I messed up, and when you mess up, you fess up. I'm sorry. This is my apology video, and I hope it's enough.
Well, it's not. It was a half-assed apology. You didn't apologize to the people you apologized to your own ilk about giving improper information. You didn't apologize to MAGA or people that exercise their Second Amendment rights or Republicans. I'm sorry. I said I didn't do my due diligence. You didn't do your due diligence when you used your face like a bar stool either, did you? What was popping up over there? That was no cold sore. That sore was hot. That wasn't no cold sore. Yeah. Oh, she is repugnant. Just terrible. It just does show, like, I don't think she was ever a strong person. But when the president of the United States calls you a slob on the highest rated presidential debate of all time, it might crack your shell a bit. Might crack the old shell and get inside. One of the greatest lines ever. You call women slobs. Just Rosie O'Donnell. Oh, one of the greatest moments in presidential history, ladies and gentlemen. We could circle back around to the great mayor of Chicago. I mean, the clips that come out of this guy's office are astounding. He is very stupid. He's not a smart guy. And he's extremely race-driven. Everything he does is based on race. That's why he doesn't want Trump to come in like Trump did in D.C. and really lay the law down. Get the Chicago law enforcement to do what they're supposed to do. Look, I bet there's people on the Chicago PD that want to do their job. They want to go out there and make arrests and take those illegal stolen guns off the street that are used in untold amounts of gang violence. But unfortunately for the mayor, it would look really bad because the majority of people getting arrested, getting shaken down by law enforcement for their guns, and being taken off the streets, the vast majority of them would be young black men. Because Chicago is just rife with gang violence, and a lot of them are young black men. They have illegal stolen weapons on them, and they're killing each other. And if a black mayor came out and said anything about it and might suggest, that parenting might be an issue, raising these kids in homes that are 75, 78% female-dominated, no fathers, illegitimate kids, you say that, you're losing the next election. You'll be right. It would be the truth, and you would actually be trying to help the situation. So obviously we can't do that. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. So the mayor there, he's got to talk about what Trump is doing in D.C. and that crime crackdown and him wanting to bring it to Chicago. He's got to equate it to anyone? Right. Thank you. Slavery. What? Yes. Slavery and the civil rights movement. This is beyond stupid. Listen to this clip.
All of this pushback against Trump, knowing how he responds to that, could actually provoke him to follow through with this talk about sending in the National Guard when yesterday he seemed to waffle. Could this make things worse, all this pushback?
Could you imagine if, as a descendant of slaves, if my ancestors would have had that same rationale? Let's not fight against the Confederacy. Let's just try to get along, and then maybe one day they'll give us our freedom. Nowhere in the history of America or the world where marginalized people have sat silent and idle, and they've been able to actually achieve justice and liberation. The fact that you have a unified front in Chicago where we are rejecting the occupation by the military of our cities, that's actually fighting for our democracy. That's what's required in this moment. Leading in this moment takes a great deal of courage, but we stand on the shoulders of so many people that have come before us. We have seen these type of tyrannical acts before. One thing that we know for sure, when we fight back against tyranny, the people united always prevail.
Can you imagine equating trying to prevent young black men from killing each other to the anti-slavery movements and civil rights? Only in Chicago, friends. Back in a flash with more of the show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yep. Anthony Cumia Show. It just seems like every week it's just pointing out the idiots and mental patients and liars, cheats, the scandals. Oh, what if we did a show called Good News? Just good news. I remember someone tried to do that years ago. Someone had a great idea in a meeting and said, we should just do good news. I've never seen anything crash faster. No one cared. No one cared. I think good news makes people envious. At least bad news, you can look and go, well, that ain't me. At least that didn't happen to me. Good news is like, screw that guy. I'm struggling over here. I don't want to see any good news. But, you know. New York, hi, how you doing? How you doing? We do broadcast everywhere in the world, but New York, we always got to talk about you. You got a mayoral race that is just an abomination. Curtis is your only choice, Curtis Sliwa. And you know, here's what some people say to me, because I bring it up all the time. I'm like, I love Curtis. I think Curtis will make the best mayor New York has seen in quite some time. Since the Giuliani days, even better than Bloomberg. Bloomberg was, he had money, he had influence. I think Bloomberg's more responsible for the Disneyfication of New York City than Giuliani was. Giuliani was just trying to get rid of the porn theaters and tug shacks and all the other three-card money things. But once that was done with, Bloomberg was able to come in with investors and money and really build up New York City into a place that tourists actually wanted to come back to. They're still under that illusion, tourists, from other countries especially, where they think New York is a great place to come and visit and snap some pictures of the M&M store and Bubba Gump shrimp. Meanwhile, you're taking your life into your hands in that city. When I go back to New York every month or so, like a period, I get cramps and I got to come back to New York. When I come back, I look at, sometimes I see these tourists from other lands dragging their luggage, their kids into some midtown hotel. And I just look and go, God be with you. God be with you. Do you know where you've taken your kids? Why would you load your kids and luggage on a plane to come to Sodom and Gomorrah? It ain't the old days. But, I talk about Curtis. And, what do people say? And I'm sure Curtis and his people have heard, oh, the hat? Curtis with the hat? It's either the cats or the hat. The cat in the hat. Oh, it's either Curtis and his cats or Curtis and his hat. The green eggs and ham or something. Guys. But truth be told, he's been making more appearances without his beret on. Curtis is going out doing these news shows, and I'm not used to seeing Curtis without the beret. But he looks mayoral. He looks like a guy that could, step out of Gracie Mansion and address the media and meet with people and fix the problems, the real problems that are going on in New York City. And, but I have no faith. Not in Curtis. I have all the faith in the world in Curtis. He's working hard, too. He's out there, as they say, pounding the pavement, talking to the people that matter and have issues that they want resolved in this city, and not making cute TikTok videos or trying to run off his past history when that includes being Italian, which Cuomo said entitles him to feel people up at weddings, or Mandani that was making his little videos. He'd be great. I bet he'd love the girls at a Taylor Swift concert would love Mandani. He's the only guy that's really out there saying, hey, New York is in trouble, and here's what we need to do to fix it. And here's the priority of what needs to be done. And he's down there in the subways and addressing the real problems of the homeless running around, the mental patients. But what I'm getting to here is I have no faith in the people of New York, the city, the state, whatever it is. There's a few little enclaves in Nassau County, Long Island, that are awesome. They aren't taking any guff from your stupid governor and your stupid senators. They do what they do, and I love it. Well, Hochul's seeing what's happening. She's seeing Trump getting law enforcement and kicking their ass in gear and having them do what needs be done in D.C. So now he's kind of saying maybe Chicago or New York or other cities need this. So Hochul, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's your anti-crime governor, New York. Are you believing this? Are you believing any of this? I'm going to have to take a quick break before we come back with the clips and everything. But when we come back, Hochul's going to talk about the judges in New York and how they just might be to blame for so many criminals being out of the street. Well, who's been saying this? Everyone. Everyone. Back in a flash with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Indeedy do. Anthony Cumia. And we're talking about Governor Hochul, New York State, New York City. My complete lack of confidence that the people of New York will do the right thing in voting in a new New York City mayor in, September, October? Oh, my God. See, I think a while ago I said, you wait, the summer's going to be over. Election day is going to be here. Before you know it, it's already September 1st in a couple of hours. And then, you know how fast it goes. after Halloween, it's all about the election. Wow. Just crazy. Anyway, Hochul, she's now looking at Trump and what he's done in D.C. and, Chicago's nervous. He's going to start cracking down in Chicago. They had 34 shootings, 5 fatalities, children being shot in Chicago. And the most important thing to the mayor of Chicago is that Trump doesn't come in and stop that and actually try to put a stop to the murders in Chicago. That's his top priority. Well, Hochul, she's about a piece of garbage. So she's sniffing that Trump might be looking at New York with the same thing. And she doesn't want to be that governor that has Trump rolling in and cleaning up her mess. So now she's come up with a great excuse as to what need be done, because she's doing a great job. Law enforcement, the city, everyone doing a great job, but she's got to pin it on someone. It can't be Trump. Trump's the guy that wants to come in and clean up. So where does old Kathy Hochul go when she needs someone to blame? Let's listen.
Offender 1,000 times, and you are still not going to be held on bail. That's what I had to change. And so those changes are bearing out. That's why we're showing a decline in all crimes, especially retail theft. So he can misstate the facts, say what he wants to say, but he's wrong. He's wrong. And also, many of the cases he gave examples to, he gave this whole memo of all these examples. Many of the cases were bail eligible, but guess what? The judge decided to do something differently than what the prosecutors had asked for rightfully under the law. So I think the question I have is, come on, judges, you're doing your part here. I need the judges to step up. And I've been surprised at the number of judges who don't seem to know the law has changed. When I read commentary from them on why they did not hold someone on bail who common sense would have said should have been held, but also our laws say should have been held. And so I think there's also a lot of questions that I've had for a long time.
Oh, it's the judges, the Democrat-appointed judges, the judges that are activists, the DEI minority judges who will look at a defendant, see that they're the same color as them, and decide that they could just let him go. Because race is much more important than actually dealing out justice and punishment and protecting the people that live in the communities that you're letting these criminals loose in. Is that it? Are those judges? Mrs. Governor Hochul, those are the judges you're talking about? They're not listening to you? Oh, the no bail thing is over. It's done. But the judges don't know that it's over. Well, how does that work? They put so many of these activist judges in place. We know this. And if you think for a second that the New York prosecutors are pushing for high bail, they're just as bad as the judges. Letitia James, that other guy, what's his name? They're the ones. Your whole state is rife with activists who will not hold these people accountable based on nothing but their race, maybe sometimes their sexuality. You think for a second you have people in place that are actually going to hand out justice, that someone committed a crime, a violent crime, and they should be held without bail? And it's just a couple of these crazy, wild judges that don't know the law, that are letting them run rampant back out on the streets in New York communities. What a lying sack this woman is. Oh, my God. New York, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Do I have to say Lee Zeldin again? Do I have to say Lee Zeldin's name again? You were there. You had the choice. Hochul or Zeldin for governor. And you overwhelmingly voted for this garbage. And now you're living with it. Now you're living with it. So what are you going to do for mayor? You want a communist in there? You want the former governor that started this no bail ball rolling? Is that what you want, New York? I got to tell you, being in South Carolina now, I almost hope to see New York screw up again. It would be funny to me. I go back every month and I'd look at people walking around the streets and go, you're an idiot. Oh, look at this dummy. Look at this jackass. I'm almost hoping for it. There's more of a part of me, though, that wants to believe that at some point people will say enough is enough, like they did federally with the president. 2016, again, in 2024, enough is enough. I'm done with this. I'm voting for Curtis Sliwa because you pros, you professional politicians, you liars, you've screwed this up so bad that I'd vote for one of Curtis's cats with a beret. Take the beret, make a little one, put it on the cat. It's got my vote before I'd vote for any of the jackasses with their hats in the ring. Ain't gonna happen. Oh my God. Let's go to Matt, Bronx. Matt, what's up?
Hey, Anthony.
Hey.
So basically, I wanted to talk about immigration, but I also want to talk about
immigration.
The crime issue. I'm sorry?
I just said immigration. What's wrong with you? Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Maybe if I take your speaker, that would help. So with regard to immigration, I want everyone to understand what really opened the floodgates. The legislation that opened the floodgates was the 1965 Immigration Act under the Lyndon Baines Johnson administration. It was sponsored by Ted Kennedy, but there was one activist congressman. His name was Emanuel Seller. He was a Jewish congressman from Brooklyn. He was the latter-day version, he was the prototypical version of Chuck Schumer. His two signature issues were opening the borders wide to third world immigration and gun control. And he was, more than anyone else, he spent 40 years in the U.S. Congress pushing for open borders immigration. And he finally got what he wanted with the 1965 Immigration Act, which opened the floodgates to 85% of immigration from third world countries and only 15% coming from Europe.
Now this was technically speaking, legal immigration, where people would come in and have to go through the process of becoming an American citizen, or was this like opening the gates? Because I don't remember 1965 very well. I was 4, but I don't remember like these caravans of illegals coming over unvetted. So this was legal immigration by third world countries.
That's correct. It replaced something called the National Origins Act of 1924. As I said, this guy, Emanuel Seller, he spent 40 years in the Congress working to change the laws. And with the 1965 Immigration Act, it deliberately restricted European immigration, white immigration, to only 15% of the total. Now, at the time when they passed the act, they didn't advertise the act legislation as legislation that would change the ethnic balance in the country, because if they did that,
of course,
there would be a massive revolt.
Yeah.
So again, it happened incrementally, but eventually, once you got the
slow
basis
boil
of the
the
immigration,
frog, Matt, the slow boil of the frog. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you got the basis in, that's when the floodgates open. And again, this is just legal immigration, and illegal immigration has shadowed legal immigration. So let's say every year 1 million legal immigrants come in. You could bet that up until the Biden administration, about that in terms of illegal immigration were coming of roughly about 1 million to 2 million illegals.
And then it was way
year.
more. Then under Biden,
it exploded.
Exploded. What do you, Matt? What do you think? Obviously, it's just a question that it's an opinion, I guess. But do you think John F. Kennedy would have been more or less open to this Civil Rights Act and all the nonsense we saw LBJ do that just destroyed this country? Do you think JFK would have been better or worse?
I certainly think he would have been a more moderating force. I don't think that he would have been. I don't think that he would have been as radical as LBJ and the left-wing lunatics that he had around him with the so-called New Deal. Right. Excuse me, not New Deal. The Great Society programs. I don't think that he would have pushed as far. And being a pragmatist, being more pragmatic of a politician, I think he would have said the scope and the scale of immigration was way out of control. It definitely goes beyond all measure of,
Matt,
of equity.
Matt, maybe that's what he did want to do, and that's why his brains ended up on the back of that Continental. And maybe LBJ, who had part in that, and saw, just because I was part of it doesn't mean I'm immune to it. He stepped up and said, yes, sir, whatever you guys need.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, and insofar as that, with regard to the Lyndon Baines Johnson administration, you had a lot of things going on. The cover-up with regard to the role that the CIA had in assassinating
a lot of
JFK.
Shenanigans. Yep.
Yeah, so he was one of the most baleful figures in American history. But you have him to thank for laying the legislative groundwork for open borders immigration. Now, I'm not one to point out a problem without pointing out a solution. Now that the Republicans are in control of the Congress, you don't know what's going to happen with the midterms. I hope that they keep both houses. But now that they are in control of the Congress, they should do everything they can to repeal the 1965 Immigration Act.
I'm all for that. I like it.
And replace it with legislation that reflects the ethnic balance in the country. There's nothing wrong with saying that people of European descent, European immigrants, built this country, that they came here in droves from the poorest countries in Europe and helped build a superpower in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah. And they should be proud of their heritage. They should be proud of the fact that even though they're well on the way to minority status, they still pay the majority of the taxes in this country, often for social programs that they're not even qualified to receive themselves.
You're right. Because they're working hard and they're making money, and that doesn't qualify for SNAP or the other benefits that we're dumping so much unnecessary money into. Matt, I got to take off. Thank you though for calling. Always enjoy your phone calls. Look, I like when people. Actually, I don't like when people. I don't like when people say that the country was built on immigrants. Immigrants are people that come to another country to come to a better life. They leave a country that is treating them poorly, that is impoverished, they're persecuted in. So they go to another country. It's already got an infrastructure. It's already there. They've got a way of life. And they go, that's immigration. Those are immigrants. America was built on settlers, explorers. These were people that came to what amounted to not much more than outposts. All along the East Coast were these outposts and harbors and places where Europeans could come and disembark with whatever's on their back and come into this country that had nothing in it. And the further west you went, the further nothing there was. And I want to hear about Indians. Just stop with the indigenous stuff. And they pushed into places there was nothing, and they made something. They didn't have slaves. They didn't have workers. They didn't have people from China building things. It was them, their families. If they had some friends along with them on the voyage, they would press on. Many of them died. But they built a country, not immigrants, settlers. They settled a savage land. This country was insane. I couldn't imagine. I read books. I watch movies, more movies than books, let's be honest. But you look and go, what type of person would do that? How bad was it where they came from that they thought going out into the middle of nothingness, competing with people that were there, obviously the Indians, and animals that would rip you apart, grizzly bears, you know? And then all of a sudden it was like immigrants built our, no, settlers. And let me tell you something, they became Americans very quickly. You come here from another country and you press west and you got a few firearms, a few skills. You realize you're not in Kansas anymore, wherever their Kansas was. And you're an American now. I need to do something to survive in America. I'm an American. So, you know, the whole when they try to talk about immigrants and immigration, and that's what America was built on, that's another lie. Just another lie. Yeah, I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. All right, we got more phone calls. Let me see who's on the lines here. Danny is trouble. Yeah, is he trouble or is he in trouble? I actually saw Cuomo was kind of beating him in some of the more recent polls. Now, look, I don't want to see Cuomo either. But if it is between Mamdani and Cuomo, that's not much of a choice right there. You got to go with Cuomo. I'd rather have a few wedding guests getting felt up than a communist mayor. You know, come here, let me kiss you. I'm Italian too. What a jackass he is. All right. Yeah, we'll come back. We'll take a couple of more calls. And, oh, yeah, Tim Walz is still bitching about the Kamala loss. What an idiot. Go away. Be right back in seconds with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes. Thank you for listening. I always pronounce the T. No, I don't. Anthony Cumia Show. Yeah, Tim Walz, of course, vice presidential timber on the Kamala Harris ticket. I know we don't even want to think about it. There are these little instances that come up in the news or social media where you see Kamala Harris or Tim Walz and they're talking about whatever. And I swear I get butterflies. I get like this whoosh, that adrenaline thing that happens just thinking of the prospect if they had won. Where would we be right now, coming up on September 1st, 2025? Where would we be? What would the mood of the country be? How would we be faring internationally? Would we be in a war? I mean, all this stuff you think about. Or just, forget about what might be happening. Just having two dimwits in office, one worse than the other. Usually there's a president and vice president, and you go, well, at least one kind of tempers the other. If this guy, God forbid, cashes out, the vice president's a good guy, or at least capable or something. The two of them together on those stages where they just spent millions upon millions of dollars in months, just a couple of months, to try to sell the American people that they were the greatest ticket for president and vice president ever. Remember, Barack Hussein Obama came out and said, Kamala Harris is the most qualified candidate there has ever been for president. So not only the president, go through all our presidents, Kamala Harris better than any one of them, but also better than anyone that they ran against and won. The greatest candidate for president, most qualified than any other president. Who was believing that? Anyone? I wouldn't raise my hand either. Well, Tim Walz believed it. And he's been out there just prancing about, yapping, and just about crying at the fact that him and Kamala didn't get in there and Trump won. And here's the thing with the losing ticket of a presidential election. They should pretty much shut up. They should really just keep their mouths shut. You lost. So the more you criticize the winner, the worse you look. Oh, he's this, he's that you lost to him. It's kind of self-deprecating in a way. But he's an idiot. He doesn't know. And instead of me talking, let's let Tim Walz talk about Kamala and what a great president she would have made. Listen to this.
The privilege of my lifetime was stand beside someone we know was the most qualified and would have been a fantastic president in a President Harris. And look, we wouldn't wake up every day to a bunch of on TV and a bunch of nonsense. We would wake up to an adult with compassion and dignity and vision and leadership doing the work, not a man-child crying about whatever's wrong with him.
That would be the vice president.
May his fat ankles find something today.
Wow.
Petty as hell.
Petty as hell? Yeah, what you just said. Trump is, 79, 80? He's diagnosed with some, cardiovascular issues. I think at that age, yeah. So having, fat ankles, that's a symptom of liquid, You got that, what do they call it? Oh, I got to, because I always said it sounds like a black woman's name. But yeah, it's a medical issue. Yeah. Like senility, like Alzheimer's that Biden had that you didn't even acknowledge. A medical issue. Did you ever hear Walz making fun of Biden and his medical issues? Fat ankles. I never heard you talk about Hillary Rodham Clinton's fat ankles. Those aren't from a medical issue. She's just a big pig with fat ankles. I never heard that. Cankles. But he's going to goof on a guy's, medical issues that, by the way, have been addressed. They're not trying to cover up that Trump doesn't have some medical issues that are giving him swelling in his legs, and he's got bruising on his hand from IVs or whatever it is. No one's trying to keep that from the American people. Meanwhile, we had this idiot walking around, this Alzheimer's victim, and no one said a word. And by the way, thank God Kamala Harris isn't president. Thank God. Oh, I am exhausted, people. Another banger of a show. Thank you, everyone, the callers, the people, the staff back there in New York. And we'll be back here, of course, next Sunday for more of the Anthony Cumia Show and plenty of videos that'll come out over the week. So look out for those. And until next week, have a great rest of your Labor Day weekend.
Thanks for listening to the Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear the Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Greg Kelly here for Colonial Metals Group. They nailed every call on gold's explosive rally, beating the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and even Bitcoin. And now they're warning the next surge is already underway. Get their free gold guide now at freegoldguide.com or call 800-655-5186. That's 800-655-5186. Learn how to move your savings into physical gold, 100% tax-free. Freegoldguide.com